Hi, this is Sarah in the garage, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Welcome to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars,
the podcast that blends the modern scooter lifestyle with a twist of the paranormal over a cool cocktail.
or two.
This independent podcast follows a group of modern Vespa riders in search of classic pubs, dive bars, and haunted taverns. The conversations that follow are simply our own, with no concern about the bad choices and fallout that happens. So here it is. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 7 of Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars. This one's called Stories Our Friends Tell Us. Interesting tidbits collected from scooter friends and destinations that include murders, cryptids, and ghosts. We'll also do a quick review of a real recent ghost hunt, also known as 3 hours of just about nothing.
It's a full show.
Yes, a little bit of scooter news and our recent acquisition of our Alexa skill. That's right, you can now listen to Chasing Ghosts on any Alexa device and have amazing control. To start, simply ask Alexa to enable Chasing Ghosts podcast, and she will.
Did I tell you I would think about my grandmother?
Yes.
For control?
Yes. You can ask her to go to any episode, and she will just start at the latest one. That's not your grandma.
My grandma? Yeah. She's dead.
You ask to move forward or move back or skip 30 seconds, all without using any screen time. So just say it. Thanks, Alexa.
Hallo, ich heiße Michaela von Kiel und Sie werden jetzt hören Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Hey, did you hear our promo on The Feed, the Libsyn Podcasting podcast? Episode 119, it's found everywhere. Did you hear it?
No, I'm catching up, though. I've been very busy.
You didn't?
I'm a workaholic.
You didn't go on and listen to our really cool
I need to
promo
buy
that we
Alexa.
did? It's not on Alexa. It was on The Feed.
Oh,
You know
that one. No, I did. Yeah, I did read. Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard
you
that.
did. You told me you did,
Yeah, I did.
but I didn't.
Yeah, well, that's nice. Anyway, thanks, Rob and LC, for doing that. And have you rated us yet on Apple Podcast or our amazing podcast page on Facebook? It's really easy, and it really helps us gain traction with this little indie project. And to be honest, just give us constructive feedback. You don't have to do anything other than give us 5 stars. So we're also easily found on Instagram and Twitter, and so we'd really appreciate that.
Well, that little bit wasn't worthy of 5 stars, I'll tell you that much.
Okay, let me start it over. Hey! Well, welcome, Mark, and thanks for taking time out of your busy tennis coaching schedule to be the voice of reason and the poo-pooer of all things paranormal without doing any research, reading, or even television watching, like even Trump does that.
Well, that's one of my strengths.
And the lizard is back. After a brief hiatus from the last podcast, he's back and throwing his zingers into the conversational fray. Welcome, Lizard.
Well, it's good to be back, but I got to say I didn't really miss either one of you very much.
Well,
As you can tell, the weather's getting warmer. He's getting more aggressive.
We have. You just squeezed up some fresh squeezed oranges for us. This is very nice.
Well, I try to do my part. This is a big production, and everybody has a job to do, and that's one of mine.
You two have been very busy planning Pub Scoot 18, slated for this July 19th, weekend of the 19th.
Is that what we settled on?
You've moved it around
Yes.
about 3 or 4 different times, but we're going to Portland. Is that the word? Tell us about it.
Oh, go ahead, Lizard.
Well, we have at least let the cat out of the bag that we are going to head to Portland in late July, and looking forward to hitting maybe 40 bars in 4 days.
Oh, always our goal.
But, of course, we only do 1 drink per hour, and we stretch it out over a 22-hour day.
Right. I like that. So looking forward to going to Portland, and we do have some listeners down there.
Well, we did find some cool bars there.
I'm really excited to get down there. The last time we went, we took a train, if I remember right, and that train eventually crashed, though we weren't on that.
Not that one, yeah.
Did you guys learn a lot about Portland? Tell us.
We lived Portland that weekend.
You guys disappeared off the map while you were down there.
We actually found a bar that we could stay in for 10 drinks straight and not go anywhere all day.
Well, maybe that's the bar then. Once we figure out what, I know you won't tell me, but once you figure out what it is, we tell our scooter listener friends that are down in Portland to come join us for a drink. Tell us their ghost stories.
I don't know if there's room in there for 2 more people.
And we will have to discuss that in private, and we'll let you know at a later date.
All right, so that's it. We're the Pub Scoot Boys, the Chasing Ghost crew, will be down in Portland the weekend of July 19th, and cruising around the city causing trouble. If you're a police person, please leave us alone.
Hi, I'm Frank, otherwise known as El Diablo. I belong to the Fuck Yeah Scooter Club and the Firkin Scooter Club, both here in Tacoma. It's a Friday night at the Parkway Tavern, where all the scooters hang out every Friday night, and you're on Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Hey, we just had a great ride the other night. We snuck out on a Friday afternoon and went to the Parkway Tavern in Tacoma and ran into a nice group from the Firkin Scooter Club.
The what?
Firkin Scooter Club.
That's right.
That's a nice big group in Tacoma. I think it's one of the most known scooter clubs in the whole state.
Are they trying to avoid the F word? Or what do you...
Firkin, I think a Firkin is a keg of beer, is it not? They can throw it on the back of their scooter and haul it around. I think it fits right into our mantra here.
Yeah. Actually, that would.
That would fit in. You know, that was a nice group of people. They were very welcoming to us.
They were extremely nice.
That's some cool scooters, too.
Well, they're a kind of a
legit,
classic vintage group, and they were actually invited us to their table. We sat down and spilt a beer or two. They do some great rides. They're all over the state, all over the area doing things.
Well, one of our fellow teachers is a frickin' rider.
For God's sakes, really?
Yeah.
Which fellow teacher?
He's a chemist. He's the mad chemist.
Let's just use his first name then. That's a little bit like Breaking Bad.
Yes. He does Renaissance reenactments, too.
We like him already. Anyway, hey, it's a shout-out to the Firkin Scooter Club and all you guys. What that was great fun, and we're going to see you again because we live in the same town.
And we go to bars.
We chase ghosts.
This is Darcy with the Fuck Yeah Scooter Club, coming to you from Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
So I heard from the nice people at Scomadi in England.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I sent them a note. They listened to the podcast where we talked about the Scomadi scooters coming to the USA, and they really enjoyed it. And they really appreciated the fact that we talked about them.
Are they giving you a freebie?
It doesn't look like it.
That's too bad because those scooters are bloody cool.
They are. It's not looking promising from one sitting in the garage unless I buy it.
Did you watch the royal wedding?
I
You
did.
should have thrown
I
that
woke
in
up
also.
at 4 a.m. and watched that. It was
That's
great.
funny. They didn't get married till about 8.
Did
you
I
not-
not see a picture of them on scooter? On a
Yeah,
scooter?
I sent that out. Yeah, I had a picture it was a post from Vespa Holics, and I shared that post of them on a
didn't
little
see that.
scooter. I think it might have been photoshopped, but it was very cute. That chrome scooter,
Yeah?
is that the one you like?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the one you're going to get?
I don't know.
When there's a Scomadi dealership in Tacoma, you need
I don't
to.
know. My people down at Portland Vespa have my loyalty.
Wow, listen to you
Yeah,
with a nice
that's
little
right.
plug right there.
I got you guys.
I wonder if those English scooters have right-hand drive.
Anyway, hey, we're still looking for those things to land, and I know that I'm going to at least take a test drive.
I'm sure you will.
This is Ashley, living on the line of West Hollywood and Beverly Hills, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Hey, Mark, can I interrupt for just a second?
Yeah.
Are we still the number one podcast in the world?
Mark Lizard, the last I checked, we still hold the lead of all the scooter paranormal drinking podcasts out there.
I feel so good.
Unbelievable.
We are the winners in the category.
You know how to pick them.
I do, and thanks to our listeners, because we are number one first in the universe, or in this case, I want to say the omniverse or the multiverse.
The what? What's a multiverse?
The multiverse is, well, can I read? Well, thank you for asking, by the way.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it is.
It's a hypothetical group of multiple separate universes.
Is this more of your made-up shit?
Including the universe in which humans live. Together, These universes comprise everything that exists. The entirety of space and time, matter, energy, the physical laws, and the constants that describe them.
And what is that?
That is the omniverse. That is the multiverse.
And what do we care?
And
we care because it's all going on around us. You just don't see it.
That's way too deep for us. Way too deep.
All right, so maybe we ought to move on to Scooter News.
There we go.
Okay, here's a real quick one. And I just saw this online. I saw it posted more than once. I just want to bring it up. Ewan McGregor, a big writer, movie star, is selling his 1963 Lambretta TV 175. He's probably already sold it, or he didn't sell it because he was asking nearly $20,000 for it.
Okay, so you want to buy the 63 Lambretta. You want to buy the scomadi.
Yeah.
Maybe you should get another job.
So
You're
is our
buying a lot of
budget?
scooters. You already have 2.
I have more than 2. So anyway, it's beautiful. It's a very rare Lambretta, and good luck, Ewan. He's more of a dual sport rider, I believe, and he did Long Way Around and some other really cool documentaries. Wrote a book and did Star Wars, of course. So we just wanted to bring that up because it's Scooter News. But more importantly, LML, the Indian company that manufactured the steel-bodied scooter sold in the U.S. as the Stella, went into Chapter 11 bankruptcy recently. Yeah.
Goodbye, Stella.
You know, I would like to make a motion that the Chasing Ghosts podcast crew make a play on the Stella.
Buy it?
Yeah, I think we have the resources to do that.
Well, I like that.
You know, this we are the number one in the stratosphere, whatever the hell
The
it is.
multiverse.
Well, let me just tell you that potential bidders should consider the company's most valuable asset in its real estate as what they have to offer. But I'm not ready to move to India yet. They do speak English, though.
Well, it won't be long and you'll be kicked out of this country.
Well, many countries have banned 2-stroke engines. We'll have to bring in a 4-stroke to go into those and make it work. So we're sorry to hear about that because we like the Stella, and you and I might be owning a Stella.
There's
shortly.
an opportunity.
We
on the
have our
horizon.
eye on one
Yep.
down the street. So that's a little bit of Scooter News of what's going on out there, and we feel bad about the Stella Group, but I have a feeling they will resurrect.
Hey, this is Jake from Maiden, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
So, you know, we try to get out and about every now and then, and let's talk about a recent ride we took up to the east side.
Well, we did. We the three of us met at Stuck Junction in Sumner
The heart of Sumner.
because you had all of a sudden you had a honeydew. You had something you had to do for your wife.
Yeah, I had some business to take care
You
of.
met us there. We had a quick drink. We headed up the road toward the Cascade Mountains and the foothills and met in Buckley, Washington at the Firehouse Tavern.
Great little American town.
It is. It's one of those that wants to come back. It feels like it's going to come back, but there's still empty buildings, and one of them in particular
I think
that I
it
love.
can. I think it
And
can.
remember, that road to Buckley is the road where they filmed
Rainier
that
Beer.
Rainier Beer.
That's right.
And we took that road up there. It was a great ride, beautiful afternoon.
You were a little hesitant about the route, but you made it.
We
You
didn't
managed it.
even make a wrong turn.
No, beautiful. Seamless.
We sat at, we were all hungry, sat at the bar, and Janelle served us.
Janelle,
Janelle is
Tell
one
us
of the
about
reasons you
Janelle.
go to the Firehouse Tavern. Janelle is a classic, well-serving bartender. She's beautiful.
Check.
She wears her Daisy Dukes
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I
and
remember that.
cowboy boots.
and she's not your trained monkey.
No, is she not? She can be both cold. She can be
In a
quick.
nice way.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then she can turn around and be warm and friendly. So we love the Firehouse. Good, better than average pub fare.
And let's just be honest, we love it because of Janelle.
Yeah, Janelle does a good job. And you know, when we sat down this time and we said, "Hey, Janelle, we do this little. Oh, I know you do this little podcast. I have your sticker right above the bar."
That's right. She put you right back in your place.
She did, and then she came out and did a little voiceover, a little transition for us.
That's
We're gonna-
right.
We'll use it right after this little bit.
Let's hear from you. Yeah,
Maybe I'll post a picture of her.
that wouldn't hurt. That actually might increase our downloads. or hits or whatever we're trying to get.
So we're going to check back with the firehouse after they've made their move. We'll make
That's
a
right,
ride
they're
up
moving,
there.
right?
Right. They're moving 65 steps down the block. They bought a building. They're going to have a whole new location.
That's exactly why we want to go back to the firehouse.
That's it. That is it. But all things considered, it was a great ride. They have cold beer, good help. It just gets our best rating as Scoot to It now.
Yes, well, absolutely. But we weren't done with the ride on that.
Not quite.
This is Janelle from the Firehouse Pub in Buckley, Washington, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters and Bars.
So where did we go?
Well, from Buckley, we headed closer to the mountains, to the little town of Wilkerson, and to a bar called the Pick and Shovel.
The Pick and Shovel.
We've been there before, maybe, or it was closed, and we went to the Wilkerson Saloon or whatever it is next door. But this is in a very old logging town, an older building with a classic 20-foot back bar, really well-worn bar seats.
The outside is almost like a studio. It looks
does.
old
It looks like you're in a movie. There's a really overall classic feel to the pub.
And then we went inside and...
No, service was prompt and it was fairly priced. When we asked it if it was haunted, you remember what they said? Yes. Yeah, it's haunted.
And then you perked right up. You got all excited. You ran out and got your
I said,
WXTVR.
I said, you want to talk about it? And the resounding answer was?
No. That was a quick no. Shot down.
We did get some details. I think you went out. You went in the back and got details on it.
Well, yeah, I tried. She gave me the story. I said, would you mind saying that to record it?
Right.
No.
So I went back there and I got the same answer.
The great salesman.
Right.
Was going to close the deal, and you couldn't do it either. You came back empty.
Well, they had their walk-in cooler door slammed shut on her while she was inside. They've had burners blow up and start burning. They had things happen.
She was adamant about that.
Yeah, so we got some pretty good details. Just we couldn't record the story. The bartender, once we started asking a little bit further, got a little bit chillier. Not
she
quite
was
as
done
friendly.
with us.
You know why? Because they're all on the run and they don't want anybody to know where they're at.
So this Pick and Shovel gets a Scoot there once in a while rating. It's just fine. It's beautiful. It could be a little warmer vibe from the help. It's adequate, not over the top friendly, but it does have a ghost and it does have a bar, and we rode there on scooters. And I would say, for the most part, and you never know, you can always catch people at an odd time, and it could be us because we can be pretty abrasive. At times. Well, you can be. But Pick and Shovel, the Firehouse, the...
Well, Carbonado would be our next stop if we keep going.
You're right, if you
we
can
have a
catch it
little more
open.
time. Yes.
So there it is.
But you remember, we made our way back down to Captain Jack's.
That's right, because we got caught in the rain and had to duck out for a little bit.
That's right, and we had to dry out in Captain Jack's.
Yes.
Well, sort of. We had
on the
one
outside.
more drink per hour.
And if I recall, the lizard had to buy a sweatshirt just to cover himself.
What'd you do with that? So you had to buy the XL too. It was
It's all
or
they had.
XXL. It was
And
a
as
big
you know,
one.
the lizard's no XL, but
In all regards.
that's not why they call me the lizard.
So there it is. That was our most recent ride, and we really had a great time. If you get a chance, make that ride with us.
This is Dan at the Parkway Tavern, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters and Bars.
Pub Scoot 13. Do you guys remember it?
Yeah, Islands 13.
Blue T-shirts.
That's right. We went into the famous San Juan Islands on our scooters on the ferry boats and cruised all the way through in the northwest corner of Washington State. It's across the Straits of Juan de Fuca.
Right, that was
a whole bunch of Juan going on here.
That was a beautiful ferry ride.
Do you remember staying in the wall tents?
Oh, yeah, the hot water bottles.
That's
The
right.
yurts.
We stayed in yurts, wall tents, at least one of the nights.
I think me and Shelly had a moment.
Well,
There was a
guys
twinkle.
seem to have a moment on every ride. Is it something you're about ready to talk about?
Maybe,
Not yet.
Maybe
Season
next year.
3.
That's if I remember, I had to come. I
tuned.
came home a little early. I'm a little older than you guys, so I drove home from Friday Harbor, the town of Friday Harbor. I
did well for your age, though.
Parked my scooter. I went to bed with my hot water bottle, and
Ass in the air, smile on your face.
Went to sleep, and I woke
Waiting
up.
for Bobby
I
Chung.
woke up in the morning. There was no cell service out there. I woke up in the morning, and my scooter, you guys had picked up, moved all the way down to the lake, and put it in the Oregon Grape. all that
little shrubbery.
I think
shrubbery.
I heard the islands are haunted.
Right. Well, they are, but not that night with my scooter. But we had a great ride around San Juan Island. Did we go to Orcas Island? Can't quite remember, but all through.
No, Friday Harbor.
Yeah. One of the places that we went to was Roach Harbor, in the Roach Harbor Resort. This place is very historical. It's very haunted. It's a feature of one of the very first lore podcasts. Lore is one of the biggest podcasts out there. And
Part of the multiverse?
We knew that.
Well, he would know about the multiverse. But Aaron Mankey is the host of Lore, and he did a whole story on the mausoleum where we were, and the Hotel de Haro and McMillan's Restaurant, all the areas that we were, and did a great job with the history. So if you want somebody who's done real research and background on what we're going to talk about, listen to episode number 4 called Dinner at the Afterglow of the Lore Podcast, #Lore, and get the real information. But we were there. We had a great time, and frankly, we've got some stories from people that work there or have been there that we're going to share with you here shortly.
And I believe, if I remember right, Greg also, we had cheese and cider.
Well, right outside of the Roach Harbor Resort is a nice little, what is it? A
stand?
Place
Shack?
where they make cider and they make gin.
That's right, yeah.
And so when Hawk
from Minnesota
was giving us a tour, he says, we serve cheese and cider.
And Greg didn't hear it that way.
Cheese and cider. So, Hawk, thank you for that.
Ruined his whole spiel.
It really did. But Roach Harbor is located on the northwest side, I believe, of San Juan Island. It's steeped in history and hauntings, and it was originally founded as a lime quarry and kiln, and it was, frankly, one of the biggest in the United States. They rebuilt San Francisco after the big earthquake and supplied all the lime to rebuild the city down there.
Hey, Lore's not the only one doing research.
Oh, no, I did a little. I know how to get to Wikipedia. And also, I go there quite frequently. But in 1886, John McMillan, a Tacoma lawyer, purchased it with a group and transitioned it from it was a lime factory, and it was, or quarry, for many, many, many years. But back in the 50s, it transitioned to one of the finest premier boat-in, marina, hotels, and destination resorts in the world. It's absolutely beautiful. People like John Wayne would go there, and Johnny Carson, all kinds of people, and they were just
anybody
like
besides
locals.
Johns?
There were a whole bunch of Johns going on.
Phil
here.
Firkin.
John McMillan was a 32nd degree Mason.
Oh.
And he built this, we had our photo with our, anyway, he built this mysterious mausoleum on what's called Afterglow Vista out in the woods that can be found through trails, and it's near the resort. It's a little bit of a walk, but it's a really impressive structure that was a significant project and investment. It was over $1 million back in the 1930s.
It's a little bit of a walk, but it's an easy scooter ride.
Yes.
Wink, wink.
It was built as the final resting place for the McMillan family. If you remember, there were stairs, 2 sets of stairs.
Yep.
All those stairs represent different things in the Mason lore world. Up on top is that granite table with these granite chairs that go all around, and different people in the McMillan family's ashes are in each one of these chairs. And then up above is this ring and columns, one's not finished, representing the unfinished work of man, where you look up through the stars and sit around this table. It is really cool.
If I recall, there was an Ouija board there, too.
There was not.
And for our viewing audience, Mark did a nice job of describing this using his hands.
Once again.
Which doesn't do you guys a damn bit of good.
Listen, if you've never seen it, just do a quick search online. It's unbelievable and haunted. He also built the Hotel de Haro that we mentioned, and his home now, McMillan's Restaurant, also very, very haunted. And the restaurant ghost is known as Ada.
Do we have any stories about these places?
Yeah, we got all kinds of stories. You brought it up already. We broke all the rules. We drove our scooters down the walking path to the mausoleum, and we took a photo in front of the mausoleum with all our scooters on Islands 13. And I will post that on Instagram. It'll flow over to our Facebook page, and if you want to take a look at it, maybe you could subscribe to our podcast. Wait, you're already listening. But let's talk a little bit about what they say about the ghosts at the Afterglow Vista Mausoleum. Blue orbs are sometimes seen floating above the chairs at night. Sounds and voices are sometimes heard.
Yeah.
Cold spots seem to linger near the tables and chairs. It is the San Juan Island. On full moon nights, the ghosts of the family have been said to be seen sitting and talking and laughing around the table.
Whoa.
Visitors who sit in the chairs report feeling nervous, as if they are violating a sacred space.
Or being violated.
Yes, those who don't make jokes. Those who sit on the table have said they felt like invisible hands were shoving them, trying to make a move. Now, I have sat at those chairs, and I haven't had that happen. I have sat and tried to record things, and I haven't had it happen. But I can say that it is a creepy place to be at night.
We were there during the day, and it was creepy.
Yeah. For ghost story lovers, it gets even better. The ashes of Ada.
So there's more?
Now, we're going to talk about Ada in a minute. The Macmillan, the governess for the Macmillans, she's also been put in there. And if you listen to the lower podcast, you'll understand why. But her ghost is said to haunt the Macmillans restaurant, which I've eaten at, and you may have had drinks at in Roach Harbor.
Is her name really Ada Beanie McMillan?
No Macmillan at the end. And the stories are that she actually hung herself in the restaurant.
Whoa.
But that has not been verified.
Bad chicken.
She's said to have turned on appliances and lights, and she also likes to open and shut doors in the restaurant. But there are more stories that I've heard about her that are much more dramatic than that. But however, here's a quick one from Alyssa, who works at Roach Harbor, and told me this story over dinner at the restaurant itself just recently. I'm with Alyssa.
My alter ego.
And I'm at the Roach Harbor Resort, and she is head of
Sales and event operations.
And you never believed this place was haunted. Nothing ever happened to you, but something recently did. What happened?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've heard a lot of stories, but I've never experienced anything myself. And my office used to be above the Macmillan's dining room, and that is where all the stories were kind of conceived. But after I left and went into a new building, I came back one morning, and as the building was completely empty, and as I walked through the kitchen, about 5 feet in front of me, a shadow just passed by. And it was calm, and it was not scary, and there was nothing wrong with it, and I noticed that no one else was in the building, and that was it.
So the building we're having dinner right now?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So who was that ghost known to be?
Well, people say that it's Ada, and she was the nanny for the Macmillan family, who had, three kids? And she was their nanny that, there's stories, some say she died, some say she hung herself in this building. But yeah, that's who people say that it is.
So you saw something, didn't you?
I saw a shadow.
And you had your first real face-to-face encounter, paranormal experience.
It was an encounter. It was a shadow, and I think that I know what it was, but you can never obviously really prove that. But I was the skeptical one. I've never had anything like that happen to me, and I've never had any experiences like that before. And you hear all the stories, but yeah, I definitely saw a shadow for the first time probably about a month ago.
Wow, how cool.
Yeah.
Alyssa, that's great. Thank you.
No, thank you, Mark.
Wow, I did not know that. A skeptic gone to the dark side.
Well, I'm not sure she went to the dark side, but she definitely had something happen that affected her.
Well, shadows do weird things.
Well, it was moving at a clip.
Is that a nautical term?
So here's another story with an actual manifestation from Kay, who was having dinner in the same restaurant, Macmillan's, a few years ago. We used to work together, and this happened when we were doing a boating event up there. And to her, this story still feels like yesterday, though she can't quite remember what year it happened.
So this is K, but the same building.
Same building, okay. same actual area. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm sitting with Kay, and we're going to be talking about your experience in Roach Harbor, where you were.
Yes.
So maybe you could tell us your experience with Ada. In Macmillan's dining room a few years ago.
Yes. I don't remember how long ago it was.
It was a company dinner.
3 years ago, maybe?
Maybe.
2 years ago? I don't remember. But yes, we were doing our annual rendezvous. I was having dinner in the dining room, and it was still daylight. It was getting to be evening. I had to use the bathroom. I had to pee really bad. But I had to wait for colors to end because it's disrespectful to get up in the middle. So I waited, And again, it's still daylight. The restaurant was packed with people, and all I had to do is I just had to go to the bathroom. So I walked into the front. It's like a little, not a lobby, but the front entrance where they have a piano and the reception hostess table. There's a single bathroom for men and a single bathroom for women. As I turn the corner to walk into the bathroom, I see a ghost for the first time in my life. And it was just this kind of a flash, and I could tell it was a woman because she had a dress on, and she was about my height, maybe like less than, well, I'm 5'2". She was maybe 5 foot, maybe. And it was just a real kind of quick flash right in front of my body, and she went into the ladies' room. Why I continued to go in there, I don't know, because I just kind of felt like I wasn't really in control of myself. There's another restroom down the stairs. I don't know why I didn't just use that one. But I go in there and I shut the door, and it's just me. There's a sink, a toilet, and a little dressing table. Sitting there going to the bathroom, and all of a sudden I look over, and everything is hazy. Like I'm in a total fog. I can't, my vision's not clear at all. And I look down, and there is a old hanky laying right next to my foot. And so normally I would never pick it up. It wasn't there when I first came into the bathroom. It was right by my foot. I would have stepped on it. But I bend down and I pick it up, and I set it on the little dresser, and I just feel like my body's frozen, and I got out of there as fast as I could, and I run back to my table where I'm having dinner, and I'm like, oh my God, I saw a ghost, and I was freaking out. I was very scared. And so we went back to at the time where the hostess was, and I'm just like, oh my God, if that hanky is really there, I'm going to really freak out. And sure enough, it was there. And it looked kind of, I don't know, like it was handmade, like it was 100 years old or something. Crazy.
Well, there's a lot of stories about Ada in that restaurant.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know why she chose me.
But it affected you. I mean,
yeah.
It changed your perspective a little bit?
Yeah, I never wanted to. I've always believed in ghosts, but I never really cared to see one or engage in that whole paranormal world, I guess. And it really scared me. I mean, like, it was just such an odd experience. And I had been up there so many times with work. I'd go up there sometimes 3 times a year for planning and different events. So, I mean, I had been up there maybe 10 plus times in my life.
It was known to be haunted.
I knew it was haunted, but I never really thought much of it. I just thought it's an old historic place, and I thought it was great. I love the history, but I never myself ever thought that I would see anything like that, because frankly I didn't want to. So I'm a little bothered by it all, because I don't want to see ghosts. But I saw Ada, and I didn't feel really at peace with it until the harbor master. He's lived there his majority of his life, and he just said, this is where she is. This is her home. How she ended her life probably wasn't the way she would have chose. Maybe I got in her way, or she wanted to communicate something to me, but it wasn't that I'm not afraid that she followed me off the island or anything like that. I know that she's where she needs to be. Now the other question is, would I ever go back there? I don't know.
All right. Well, great story.
Kay's got some interesting stuff.
That was that affected her. She
yes.
saw something and found something, and it was profound to her. At least that's what she said.
I guess everybody's got their own opinion.
Yeah, well,
I'm still waiting for my experience.
For anyone that works there, the history at Roach Harbor is real. The stories are real, and it's openly talked about by everybody that works there. And in fact, I've been on a ghost walk with the executive chef, Bill Shaw. He's walked us through the whole resort and told us different stories of different areas. And one of the stories is about the Hotel de Haro, and it's a little gruesome, so be prepared. But it's from Kevin, who's the harbor master at the marina, and he had firsthand experience with this particular story in the Hotel de Haro. And if you are a little bit squeamish, I would say skip through this one. But
now, where's the hotel in relation to?
Right next door. It's the restaurant is right here. If you're looking from the water side, and
he's using hands again, folks.
Right. They're maybe 60 feet apart.
Okay, so it's not across
100
town.
feet apart.
They're
No,
right there.
no, it's
All
the
right.
same resort. And the hotel is super old, and if you go to roachharbor.com, you can get a really good idea of the layout of this area. But super haunted, and here's Kevin's story about the Hotel de Haro and something really bad that happened there. What do you do here?
I'm the harbor master here at Roach Harbor. The resort started by the Tart family in 1956. A mining town. John S. McMillan started as a limestone production at the turn of the century, the largest lime producing and most purest lime this side of the Mississippi.
Is this place haunted?
Oh, many would say that, and I believe it is, yes.
And you've experienced some really troubling times here.
Yes, I've been here quite a long time now, so I've seen a lot of things happen.
One of them of which stories have come from, but you were there when it happened. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about the hotel.
The Hotel de Haro in 1985. I was part of hotel in the sadder moments, as we had a young lady who worked here, and she was 25 years old, and she had a boyfriend who was 50, and they split up.
So 10 years younger than me.
yeah.
And 7 years younger than you.
That is correct. Yeah. So at the time he didn't, I guess, want to be split up with her, and unfortunately she had started seeing another guy
That worked here.
that worked here as a busser, and he was a very jealous sort. And he one morning, on cold morning January, flew his plane back up from Seattle and came down with a loaded gun, went up into the hotel and killed both her and the young man she was seeing, and then turned the gun on himself. So pretty sad day.
So that room has a lot of stories attached to it.
It does. It's always, they go kind of across the board. That
Something to do with carpets and all
yeah,
kinds
the carpets were bleeding through, and they couldn't, which I don't really, I don't believe that's so much true, but I do believe that the spirits are there. I believe that when I'm in there, not only I feel them, but I have a good friend of mine from England who's very much into this, and I can feel her everywhere in this room. So
Second floor?
Second floor.
Right.
Room no longer exists. They recently did a remodel, and they removed that room and made an executive suite out of that room. So the room itself no longer exists.
Earlier we talked to Alyssa, right?
Yes.
And she talked about Ada. And that was in the restaurant, which is a separate building.
Right.
Right. And what's the story with her?
Well, Ada was originally with the McMillan families, and she was their nanny. She was with the family for all those years. Ada's stories go from all across the board. We were tonight in the restaurant talking to Jody, who's been here 30 years. There's so many stories that go across the board. Candace, and when they actually have left the building, turned everything off, and went back to check on something, all the candles were relit.
Right.
You know, and these are people that I trust in and believe that those are true stories. We also heard a story tonight from about one of our security guys, that the upstairs, which the bedroom that's upstairs, which we call it our executive dining room, but it was originally one of the rooms for McMillan's, closed the windows, turned the lights off, went to do his check around, looked up, the windows were back open, the lights were back on, closed them again, And this time made sure they were closed and turned around and they, again, once the lights were back on and the windows were back on. So
Wow. And you don't doubt this.
I don't doubt it at all. I feel when you're in that building, I'm in that building usually Saturdays early in the morning, and you're sitting there by yourself, you can just feel the presence. I have never seen per se, but I do feel.
Right. So, and again, how long have you been here?
I've been 36 years now, Mark.
So probably you've heard these stories for a long time.
Yeah, and some of them, some of them kind of get embellished a little bit and, told. So you kind of be careful with pick and choose what you hear, and I kind of laugh at some of the stories how they've grown changed over the time. Yeah. And
but there's a real nugget there.
There's a real feel. If you go into that building, you just know that you can feel that we're not alone.
So if you ever get to the San Juan Islands in northwest Washington, go to Roach Harbor, one of the best and most beautiful places to spend a week or a weekend.
So, what'd you think of that story from Kevin?
Jeez.
Yeah.
You're not messing around up there.
That is Squeamish. And isn't there an island on the San Juans called Squeamish? Or is that Guimish? Guimish.
So a lot
New Jersey's called Guido.
Yeah, a lot going on at the Roach Harbor Resort. And like I said, Bill Shaw, who I have not tracked down to tell us stories, is one of the best storytellers about that area as well.
Well, I'm just glad in Islands 13 trip you were not into the paranormal
recordings
yet.
I wasn't
but you weren't recording
it.
the
He was just
we would still be up
out
there.
This is Ross from the Firkin Scooter Club, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Pubs.
Or bars.
Or bars.
So speaking of resorts, our good friend has a super cool fly fishing lodge located on Ascension Bay on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico called the Palometa Club. In fact, it's the #1 permit lodge in the world. Did you know what a permit is, Mark?
I have to have a permit.
No, a permit is a fish.
Oh.
It's a type of fish.
I did not
They're
know
the
that.
#1 fly fishing permit lodge in the world. And if you're an enthusiast of fly fishing, check them out at the PalometAClub.com. PALOMETACLUB.com.
Good.
They employ English-speaking guides and support help from the town of Punta Allen. And this is a story told to Dick Cameron, the owner, our friend, when it happened. And it includes a scooter. Just saying.
Wow.
So it happened in the jungle, and all the things that live there are around all the time, including, I say jaguar, I think it's panthers.
Might be pumas.
It might be, but this was something different. So let's let Dick tell his story.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I'm sitting with my friend Dick Cameron. You own a lodge down in Mexico, in one of the coolest places in Mexico. Where is that?
Well, we're about 120 miles south of Cancun. You take a little jungle road when you hit Tulum, and you go 36 miles on the dirt road, and when it ends, you've found us.
We can take a dirt road, but when I went there, we went on a panga.
Well, we took the back way in because the dirt road that goes in was so blown out that we didn't actually have the opportunity to get there all the way by vehicle, so we had to use a watercraft.
Tell me about your lodge.
Well, we're a saltwater fly fishing operation that we cater to just 12 guests at a time, and we specifically target a species called the permit. And of the big three, the Grand Slam species, there's the tarpon, the bonefish, and the permit, and we've managed to become the best in the world at getting fly anglers onto permit somehow.
Well, I think that's exciting. I've never caught one, though. I've seen them.
Well, your brother has.
I know. He's been down there and he's done it. And I think it's also fitting that we're in a bar doing this interview.
Well, I think that's very apropos.
And we rode scooters here.
I think that's even more apropos.
I love it. So tell me about something that happened in the jungle, because you guys are located in the jungle on a bay near Belize down there on the Caribbean.
Well,
so tell us a little bit about that.
Let me back it up a little tiny bit. All right. So we're in this lobster fishing jungle community that currently has about 500 residents, all right? And it's not that old of a community. It's only like 40 years old. Practices of witchcraft and brujo and bruja activities are only a couple of generations past what we're dealing with right now. Okay, so fast forward to where we are right now. The community's modernizing. A lot of these people are still wandering around town that used to be witches and warlocks and related to some of the people that work for me, right? Totally related. And it's a very nonchalant kind of an attitude. It's like, well, Armando used to be a brujo. So, you hear these stories over the years. It doesn't really register until you hear something specifically weird.
And you heard something.
Very specifically weird, yeah.
All right, let's go down that path. Let's take the dark trail.
Okay, well, you've never seen it. I mean, the business that we have now is on a piece of dirt that is almost directly in front of where we had the wedding. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, right next door to where we had the reception.
I danced.
Right. Well, poorly, but you did. And so, here we are on this little chunk of dirt, and we have a chef, and she's a young lady, and she's got 3 young kids. She's living up the road, close to where Sol Caribe was.
So let's be clear. This is a jungle road. This is not like a road. It's a dirt jungle road.
It is an unimproved sand beach road that carves its way through the palm trees and out onto the beach for sections of it, and it's rough on a good day.
We walked through that jungle, and it's a thick jungle. I mean, bugs, trees, and brush, and eyeballs looking at you at night. I mean, all kinds of crazy things.
Well, that's the fun part. It's considered a low canopy rainforest, is what it's considered, right? Which I don't really get that, because we only get 2 rainy seasons a year, but it's enough to keep it very green, very thick. And if you took off running through the jungle 40 feet, you'd be naked because the briars would have ripped your clothes off you.
When I'm down there, I'm typically naked anyway, yeah. So it's pretty good.
And none of us enjoy that.
I do. Well, let's hear the story.
Okay, so when we have a full complement of clients, which is just 12, and we have 22 employees to accommodate this 12 guest.
That's 2 employees per guest.
Oh, yeah, almost. And so our cooks, the girls that come in that make the lunches and do breakfast and all that sort of stuff, they come in when we're full. They come in between 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning. And our head chef, lovely little woman named Rosie.
Have I met Rosie? That's not Lady. I've met Lady.
You have met Lady. You did not meet Rosie.
Right.
Fina, you met too.
Yeah,
right.
And you met Fina. Yeah. She's still there. But Rosie was living up the road, and there was a piece of property being developed at the time, and the buzz amongst the community was this was a locale where the brujos and brujas, the witches and warlocks, would get together, and they would do their shape shifting. They would do these. They would turn themselves into animals, right? And honestly, the people that were describing this activity to me were not tipped over by it on any stretch of the imagination. It was like, well, yeah, that's what they did.
Matter of fact.
Matter of fact. Very matter of fact. And but they were a little bit upset about this piece of property being developed because they thought there was a tremendous amount of weird activity associated with that one particular piece of dirt. And so in further questioning the people that were concerned about it, it's like, well, what happened? And I, well, my uncle, one of my guides, said, well, my uncle was a shapeshifter, and he turned himself into an animal, and it took
What
him,
animal? We need to know.
I really don't know. I'm sure something not horribly attractive. You know, let's call it a
Turtle?
raccoon.
Turtle, raccoon. Maybe a mammal.
Maybe, and he had a difficult time changing himself back into his human form, and so it freaked him out, and he stopped practicing the whole thing. Right? You know, I wasn't thinking too much about it, and then one morning, our chef, Rosie, shows up between 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning, completely distraught. And her husband would give her a ride to work every morning on a scooter.
Do we know what kind of scooter?
It was one of those Honda
Elite?
See you later, Glenn.
See you, Glenn. Yeah, all right.
Take care.
It was like a step through.
So, well, they're all step-throughs for the most part, but we don't know what kind of Honda. Was it antique?
Probably
Was
a
it?
50cc Honda.
It was old.
Yeah.
It was definitely old. And
Could be an Elite, Bob.
very beat up. So he would pick her up, or he would transport her with this scooter.
Two up.
Yeah, two up on the 50cc to work every morning. Right?
On the jungle highway.
On the jungle highway. And it was only like 5 or 6 kilometers. It wasn't a long route, right? But this particular morning, and ordinarily I don't get up when the staff shows up between 4:30 and 5. I wait till the guests start.
And you are
stirring.
healing from the night before of entertaining the
Typically,
guests.
ordinarily, yeah, that's quite true. And so she shows up and she's distraught. And the other 2 girls that work in the kitchen went to console her, and she was inconsolable. And I was up and available and witnessing this whole exchange of information. And you know, the Spanish was rapid fire, and my Spanish is not that great anyway, but the parts I could ascertain from this machine gun like conversation was that they had run into a beast on the scooter, a beast. And so when everything finally calmed down and they were, you know, drinking beers at 5 o'clock in the morning.
All of them?
All of them. Every one of them. And I was a little bit concerned about, you know, whether or not we were going to get through the day of getting the clients their lunches made and their breakfasts on the table. But when I interjected myself into the conversation about the beast that she saw, she said it happened at this piece of property that used to be the witches and warlocks hang out. And they came around a corner, and the scooter lights shined on this creature that was standing erect. He was walking on his hind legs with no hunched over effect at all, was just walking down the road, completely hairy, completely enshrouded in some sort of coat or mane. And when they came up on it, it turned and it looked at him, and its eyes glowed fire red, and it stared at him for a brief period of time, and it dropped down on all fours and went skitty bushing off into the jungle. And at that point, they continued to work. And the her condition and her husband's condition, both when they got to work that morning, and like I said earlier, it was rare that I was up, but I don't even know why I was. But I was right there when they showed up, and they were clearly tipped over by the whole experience.
Wow.
It was something that neither one of them had ever experienced.
Great story. And I'm going to do a little research and find out what sort of shape-shifting stories are attached to Mexico and that area and the Mayan culture. But did you question her even after that?
I did, and even recently I have.
Wow.
I mean, this happened 8 or 9 years ago, and even recently I've asked her. I said, "Have you seen another one of those things that you saw on the road?" she instantly goes into a near panic state. And it's like, no, I haven't seen one. But we'll fight to the death that she saw that one.
She saw something.
She saw something. And, you know, the Mayan culture is pretty steeped in that whole deal.
I'm interested to see what I find out when I do a little, you know, the research we do for this podcast, pretty light. But I want to know a little bit. And great stories. And if you want to experience a little bit of the jungle and a little bit of the Caribbean and some great fishing, go to this club called palmetto.com and fish.
And fish.
Yeah.
Mark, wasn't that the same sort of beast your sister saw?
You know, I am probably going to
episode?
share. No, she saw a UFO that we shared in the earlier episode, not a Sasquatch. Right. But I will say, my sister is a child of the 60s and said that she did see a Sasquatch. In fact, she's on one of the Sasquatch TV shows that's on the cable channels now. So
I got to think in Mexico they don't call them Sasquatches.
There's Cucachabra. Is that what it is?
Something like that.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what this was. It was something else. Right. So anyway, pretty cool story from Dick down there in Mexico, and we want to thank him for sharing it, because it's not often you get to hear something like that from a foreign land, and we do have a listener in Mexico.
We do, and you know, Dick is a friend of ours, but have any of you been to Dick's fishing lodge before?
I have.
Never mind.
I haven't been to the new one, but I went down there for his wedding on the beach in Punta Allen, and it was really kind of a special trip. It was great. And
is that the guy that's been riding your old red?
He's taken red. He didn't return it there for about a week, but I got her back now. She's safely in the garage, and he didn't hurt it. In fact, he wanted to let me know that he cleaned it up.
Yeah. See Dick ride.
Yeah. So thank you, Dick. That was a great story, and I want to thank everybody for listening to stories from our friends that they told us, and glad that you stuck this out. We'll be riding, as we said, on our annual pub scoot in Portland the weekend of July 19th, and we hope we can run across some scooter riders and listeners down there. So if we see you, we'll have a classic Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars sticker for your ride. You can put it right on there and let them know you met us. Well, or not.
Well, yeah. You can just say hello.
Yeah. If you have a ghost story to tell us, though, or something that's happened in your life, we'd love to record that. And if we do, we'll buy you a drink and give you a sticker. But just one.
Yeah.
Because we're riding, you know. We're also talking about doing a live podcast recording here in the Scooter Garage in Tacoma. It's a party, if you will, with an audience. So we could do some bits from the moving blanket enclosed studio here. What do you think of that idea?
Well, you know, we could roll in the grandstands, no problem, and this will be a piece of cake.
So,
does this mean we'll have to wear clothes for the next episode?
Yeah, and once again, our wives will not join us. I just thought it might add a little texture and depth to our little project and sound.
Or a heckler or two.
So if you're local here in the Washington area and interested, drop us a note on Facebook Messenger or our website at chasingghost.net, or just call me on my cell phone. You all have the number. And we'd love to have you. We're going to try to do that this summer. Everybody else, your bar or scooter haunting stories are also needed. Tell us at chasingghost.net, and please like our Facebook page and give us feedback.
Arrivederci.
Thanks for listening, and a shout out to Weeknights for the original music. This podcast is copyright Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.